What's up, everyone? It's Tuesday night. You know what that means. Another episode of Shoe Booty Sports coming at you. I'm your host, Graham Powell, on this screen. On the other, rocking the blue shirt, a different shade of blue, Brad Brown. Say what's up, Brad.
What's happening? I didn't even notice you had a blue shirt on, so I'm
I
very
didn't
observant tonight.
I didn't notice it until I looked over and saw. I was like, oh, we're both rocking blue. So you got the memo. Okay. Before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoe Booty Sports. So if I sound a little raspier than usual, it's because I am. So I got a pretty nice cold going at the moment. And so sorry everyone, but you're just gonna have to deal. I'll try not to snot too much here on camera. Okay, so we'll talk about sports and stuff. All right, I did see this before. I didn't want to forget this. Rafael Nadal has ended his career. It happened at the Davis Cup. It was his home country, Spain, taking on the Netherlands, and I don't know, some singles action, doubles action, and whatever else was involved. But Rafael Nadal, 38 years old, which is pretty old for a tennis player at the professional level, at the elite
Yeah.
level, right? But he ended his career there. I believe that's where he started his career, was at the Davis Cup. And as he put it, he started it with a loss, and he ended his career at the Davis Cup with a loss. So it went full circle. Is pretty much how he put it in his post match quote. He was, oh gosh, I don't have the number in front of me, but 20 plus Grand Slams, 22 maybe, 22-time Grand Slam winner. One of the top 3 I've ever seen. It was always him, Federer. It was always Federer, and then Nadal was going to be the next guy, and then Nadal surpassed him at a certain point. Federer, that is, and then sure enough, here comes Novak Djokovic. You know, what doesn't feel like too much later beyond that, and he's even surpassed them as far as Grand Slams won, and of course, Djokovic getting a gold medal at this past Olympics, but Rafi Nadal, no doubt, a pioneer in the tennis game. I've never been a big follower of tennis, but I've always respected it. I can't play it. I've tried.
Yeah.
I always hit
Very,
the
very
ball.
tough sport. So
Yeah, like I mean, very active sport, but it's not that. I just couldn't get the. I got to hit the ball like over the net, but not too high over the net, and it's got to land bounds on the other side. I just baseball swung it and would always send it over the fence usually. Feel free to chime in there when I'm going off to the side to blow my nose. By the way,
I don't even, dude, I don't even have my camera up. So sorry. Not
okay.
even paying attention to how you look. So
So what are you just listening to me? How does that even work?
yeah, half the time I'm listening, half the time I'm watching. So
Okay, all right. Well, I'm trying not to do that too much, but it is what it is. I got a Theraflu thing going on at the moment. It's helping a little, but not a lot. Okay. All right. We had a couple fights going on over the weekend. Friday night, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. I did not watch it for 2 reasons. One, I don't have Netflix. My budget allowed Max or Netflix, and I went with Max just because. I mean, you look at. I can't tell you how many times I turned on Netflix and would look for something to watch and be like, "This all. I'm not interested in any of this." and I
Every
would go,
time you open up Netflix, yeah, it's what it is.
yeah, I say you just renewed yours, so you were probably reminded of that. But
Oh, I knew
HBO.
how bad it was. I jumped on it at my sister's place a couple months back, and there wasn't anything I cared to see then. I was like, well, I guess the fight will be worth the $15, whatever. But yeah, I've already canceled it. I mean, I mean, I'm sure you heard Netflix pretty much crapped the bed with that whole streaming service. You were lucky if you got to watch it uninterrupted. A bunch of people I know didn't get it to work and watched it on their phone. For some reason, it was working over the mobile network and not through any cable providers. It was a big mess, big hassle to end up watching a fight that wasn't so great. So
Well, Antonio Brown kind of saved the day for a lot of people. He apparently was live streaming and with it on.
yeah,
Apparently, a lot of people got to watch it that way. So AB just continuing to save the world,
yep.
helping get a president elected in Pennsylvania, and now helping people watch Jake Paul, Mike Tyson on Netflix. So AB changing the world one step at a time. I Okay, I don't know. I don't know if I said the other reason why I didn't watch. I had to get up at 4 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. the next morning, so I was in bed before the fight even started. As the fight was starting, I was asleep. But I did watch it Saturday night, and like late Saturday night, like as I was about, like my eyes were struggling to stay open anyway. And then I got home. I was having trouble. I got home late because I was hanging out in Benton, and I got home late, and I was having trouble staying awake just on the 50-minute drive home. But then I get home and I'm like, okay, in order to stay awake, I gotta like do something. So I like just unpacked my car with all my race stuff, even put my laundry, like clean laundry away, folded it and all that jazz, which is a almost a quarterly thing. But that woke me up enough to where I could sit down and watch a little TV, and I watched that fight. And somebody had put it to where it was basically like there was no breaks. It was his little bit of commentary between each round, and that was it. I mean, it was like boom, boom, boom. Here are the 8 rounds, and it was a snooze fest. It was an absolute snooze fest. I can't say I'm surprised. Like at last week, I picked Tyson to win, and pretty much immediately after the show, like the next day, I remember telling people Jake Paul's going to win by decision. There's
Yeah.
just, I
Well,
don't know what I'm expecting from a near 60-year-old Tyson.
we should have peeked at the contract details a little bit because apparently how the contract was laid out, from what I've seen, I mean, who knows if it was official or not. It was in Tyson's best interest to make that fight go the distance and to lose. Uh, if he There's a stipulation if he ended up knocking out Paul in the first round, like he really didn't make hardly any money. And if he knocked out Paul at all, it was the same deal. He hardly made any money. Um,
Hang on. Are you going conspiracy theory on me?
I just said I seen it. I don't know if it's official,
Okay,
but
well,
there
you're
were
putting it
some.
out there.
Well, I mean, I'll put it out there. But over the first, I don't know, 3 rounds, I mean, Tyson looked kind of like how I expected him to, except for him chewing on his glove. I don't know what that was all about.
Oh,
He,
he said he has a biting fixation, which is they asked him about that, which we all knew that, but
I
that's
don't
what he
remember
said.
him biting it that freaking much. I mean, that thing was like a pacifier.
Say that to Holyfield.
Well, I mean, biting his glove,
But
but
biting some, if you got a biting fixation, you're biting.
uh,
Um,
I get it. But I don't know. I just think he could have caught him with a couple more punches. I do think he pulled a couple of punches in the first couple of rounds, but after round three, his leg was gone. The one with the brace on it, he looked like he was having some trouble.
Well,
getting around.
to me, it was a typical Mike Tyson fight at near 60 years old. If he doesn't get you early, he's probably not going to get you. His best shot was to catch him in the first couple of rounds, and that didn't happen. And his legs were gone. He's 58 years old. He's in incredible shape for a 58-year-old, but he's 58 years old fighting
Yeah,
a 27-year-old
we,
in his prime, in his physical prime. And say what you want about Jake Paul, but I mean, he's a tough dude.
yeah,
He's a tough guy, and he works his ass off in order to be as good as he is. Is he world class? No, but
no,
he's work. I mean, he works his butt off. I mean, this is what he eats, sleeps, and breathes boxing, and he's just
hmm
consistently getting better at it. And like I said, he is a tough dude, and he keeps getting better. I'm not saying he's going to go win a world championship or anything like that, but Tyson's fighting a guy in his prime
we,
that's
we,
takes this
we
very, very seriously and is consistently getting better.
well, we all know what would happen if somehow, some way, they both met each other whenever they were 27, both 27 and fought each other. We know what would happen then.
Yes, we all do, and I don't know why people keep bringing that up. Uh, no kidding, the fight would have never happened because say what you want about Jake Paul, he's not stupid. He's not. He would not fight Mike Tyson in his prime. I mean, why? No, like the
Uh,
dude knows his limits, and that's the thing. That's the other thing. I didn't grow up, or excuse me, I didn't watch Jake Paul grow up. Like I didn't see his YouTube stuff, so I don't understand necessarily the hate maybe that's thrown at him. I don't get it. But he's going full like heel wrestler,
oh,
really.
yeah.
He's just leaning into that. He's saying, okay, well, this is what you're doing. If this is what you're seeing me as, I'm going to go with this,
Yeah.
and
Because no, yeah.
I'm going to turn it
No,
into money for me. He doesn't care if you love him. He doesn't care if you hate him. He just wants
he
you to
wants you
buy
to hate
his
him.
fight.
Yeah.
Yes, he wants you to buy
Yep.
his fight. Um, that's what he wants. Like
Yeah.
he knows that you want to see him get knocked out, and he's like, "That's
Yes.
great. Pay for it. Pay to watch that, and then we'll see what happens." And
Nobody. Yeah.
he's turning your hate into cash, and I respect that. Like I
Yeah. It's
respect what he and his brother do.
yeah.
Because what's the last boxing match we talked about that didn't involve Jake Paul?
Mayweather. I don't know.
Exactly. It's been a while. It's been a while since Mayweather stepped into the ring. So I look at it from a neutral perspective. And it would have been great to see Tyson get one last big KO, just
Yeah.
because I like Tyson. But I see that I saw it for what it was. And also, Jake Paul could have put Tyson down uh, at several points in the fight.
I feel the
Toward the
same
end,
way. Yeah.
he could have put him down at several points in the fight late because Tyson had nothing, and Jake Paul knew that. Jake Paul knew he had it. He had it won, and he carried Mike. He carried Mike the distance and helped him go the distance. Jake Paul could have ended it. So say what you
Yeah.
want about him, but I mean that was as good of an outcome as I could have asked for because I even think it would have been bad for business. I think if Mike Tyson would have gotten like seriously hurt, like knocked out
Oh,
bad,
yeah. Yeah.
like, that was the best possible outcome. And yeah, think it worked out, and I think Jake Paul knew that to an extent.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I go ahead.
I think I was gonna say I think we can all agree. Jake Paul's a douche canoe, but he is also a marketing genius. So that's off to him.
Again, I don't have anything against the guy just because I don't know but I get why I get the hate, but I also get even more him leaning into that. Just say, okay, this is what you see me as, and I'm going to turn that volume up to about 12. So it's good business, and I mean he's a great businessman. Say what you want about him, but he is for sure that's something we can all agree on. I
I said
think.
he was a
Okay,
marketing genius. So
say that again.
I said he was a marketing genius.
Well, yeah, I'm just reaffirming that. Maybe that's the word. I don't know. There was another fight. Saturday. That was a Friday night fight. The other one was Saturday night. Jon Bones Jones, the goat, as far as I'm concerned.
He pretty good.
Uh, yeah, he's pretty good. The spinning back kick that he threw at
You
Stipe
know that
was
felt great.
just listening to it, just listening to
Uh,
it, and that was it. I mean, it just once again confirms. I mean, this guy's is the best fighter I've ever seen. I mean, just the best absolute fighter. You put Jon Jones in a room with the baddest dudes that have walked the planet in modern times. My money's on Jon Jones being the guy that walks out of there. Just an absolute monster, and I loved everything about the fight. The spinning back kick, finishing him the way he did, the Trump dance after,
yep.
the
Heck,
the post fight interview.
he let Trump have the or wear the belt pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's been yeah, it was fun to watch all around, and he just seems like he's in a great place mentally too, and that's something. That's one thing you couldn't always say about Jon Jones, or the one thing that you did always say was the only thing that can beat Jon Jones is Jon Jones.
Yep.
And he just seems like he's in a great place mentally. He did an interview with Daniel Cormier, DC, and it was a very professional, cordial. It was very friendly, even. It was a good interview between the two. Which when those two talk to each other, it's been the opposite of that. It's been great. It's been great stuff to lead up to a fight too. It's different when you don't have to fight the guy also.
Yeah.
But when Jon Jones wants to turn that switch on and be that animal again, he absolutely can be. He's as bad as anyone that's ever walked the planet, if not the baddest. But Jon Jones getting it done again. He'll be back. They've thrown some names out there, but he'll go to the one that he'll take the one that makes the most sense, makes the most money, and whatever Dana White tells him to do, which is going to be those other two things, those first two things. Okay, let's talk a little football. All right, so okay, well, first of all, the Jets fired their GM Joe Douglas after 3-8 start, so Robert Sala's gone, and next step is the GM, and I don't know what's after that. How far down is Aaron Rodgers on that? So I mean, his numbers aren't
I
bad.
mean, no, but they aren't that good either. Did you see their winning percentage by starting QB over the years, and somehow Rodgers is behind. Uh, I can't even.
Zach
I'm
Wilson.
blanking out. Yeah, Zach Wilson,
Wow, didn't know
and
that, but that is
yeah,
true. 3-8.
it is true. Um, and yeah, he's behind whoever started before Zach Wilson. So yeah, Jets are hopeless.
Yeah,
I would
the
say.
Aaron Rodgers Jets era has been one to forget. History will not be kind to it, but I think history will push it to the side and just like let's just remember him
Well,
for the Packer that he was.
yeah, well, I mean, with them letting go of the GM, I mean, they've already let go of the head coach. Uh, I mean, if Rodgers plays next year, I seriously doubt it's going to be for the Jets now. I mean, why would you come back to a team whenever you're, what, 42, 43, that has a new GM, a new head coach, and God knows what else is new around there? Um, yeah, I think that's a fat chance of happening.
It's the Jets. It's just the Jets. This is Jets stuff. I mean, this is Jets as it can get. That's
Yeah.
what the New York Jets are. It's just uh, they're a train wreck, but in a jet version. So, all right. Okay, moving on from that. Okay, the Bills beat the Chiefs, so the 72 Dolphins can pop a cork, pop the champagne bottles. They will remain the last unbeaten team, or the only unbeaten team in NFL history, undefeated team. Bills beat the Chiefs, but I mean, nobody's surprised by that, I would think.
No, it's
Oh,
happened before.
with all the one game wins, or excuse me, the one possession wins that the Chiefs have had all year. It feels like they've all been that way. I can't be surprised that they finally lost one. And to the Bills, if you're going to lose, that's the one I would have picked to the Bills.
Well, I was surprised that it was more than a possession game. I mean, they lost by what, 10? Or was it 11?
9, I
It
think.
was by,
I think it was 9. I
oh, they
don't
went
know.
for two and didn't get it.
It
Maybe.
was
Heck, I don't know.
it was a 2 possession game either way. But the Bills went and won it instead of playing it safe. They went and won the game because they knew 15 was on the other sideline. So it made sense. Josh Allen was big when he needed to be. Bills got it done. Bills are 8-2 now. I believe Patrick Mahomes said to Josh Allen in the post game, like on the field, let's do it again in January or something like that, which is what we all expect. And that's my thing. Like I saw a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon a little bit of Josh Allen. I saw a couple like Damian Woody maybe even said that Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league right now. And this is just classic prisoner in the moment stuff right here.
Yeah,
When Josh Allen beats Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in playoffs, then we can talk about that.
exactly.
But 3 rings beats 0.
Yeah.
Uh,
And we've heard this before. The last time Allen beat Mahomes, he's the best quarterback. But when all the dust settled, it was Mahomes coming out on top. So yeah.
okay. All right. Well, moving on from that, because we'll for sure see what happens. Any surprises, or what are some of the most surprising things that we've seen at this point in the NFL season? I'm not doing a week by or not doing a game by game stat line this week. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
score of the season so far. For me, it's a lot of the 8-2 teams, like the Eagles and Steelers. Those are two
Yeah.
surprise teams to me. The way that things ended for the Eagles last year, I think it's fair to say that momentum would you could maybe expect that to continue. No, Eagles have bounced back 8-2. Steelers, I'm surprised by 8-2. Now with Mike Tomlin,
I thought they'd be, above 500. I didn't think they'd be 8-2.
yeah, it's I didn't know what to expect. I thought they would be closer to 500 than 8-2. I mean, it's Mike Tomlin, of course, never had a losing season, but that's just been barely like these last few seasons. It's been like 9-8, like 9-7, kind of even 8-8 seasons. That's been like in the Steelers record within the last couple of years. Um, but yeah, 8-2. Russell Wilson, playing pretty decent from what I've seen. Not lighting it up like he did in his prime days of Seattle, but the Steelers had a winning season with Kenny Pickett at quarterback and Mason Rudolph last year. So it's fair to think that Russell Wilson stepping in is going to make a much bigger difference, and it has. But Eagles Steelers 8-2, and the Jets being what they are, the Jets. I'm still surprised by a 3-8 start. Still
Yeah.
a little surprised by
3-8's a little lower than what I thought they would be. Uh, same with the Cowboys. I wasn't expecting them to, be,
that. Expecting a
eight and
Super
two or
Bowl.
anything. I was expecting them to be 5-4, 5-5, something like that. But yeah,
Maybe 6-4, not 3-7.
especially after the first week, man.
Yeah,
They
I
curb
mean, lit
stomp.
it up. But to be fair, I mean, injuries have really plagued that defense, and obviously
It
Dak's out for
has.
the year now.
Yeah.
That certainly hasn't helped. But I mean, this has been quite the drop off. 3-7, very or surprising nonetheless. The bigger surprise to me is the 4-7 Bengals, especially with the way Joe Burrow has played the last few games, throwing like 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, like each of the last 3 games, or something along those lines. And he's come out on the losing end of all of them. Like it's a wild stat. people have thrown it out all week like this has never happened before. To put up those kind of numbers and lose every time, it's wild. And it's been close games too. So that's another
Yeah.
surprise to me.
You little kind of a little surprised to see the Chargers doing so well. What are they 7-3?
I'm not surprised. I mean, you
It's
got
seven
Justin
and three.
Herbert. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, we knew it could
Harbaugh win.
happen.
Harbaugh wins everywhere he goes, and you got Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I'm not that surprised. Like I'm not surprised at all. If you'd have told me 7-3 before the season, I'd probably say, yeah, that's about right. That feels about right.
Nostradamus over here. Okay.
It's dude. Just look at Harbaugh.
It's
He's
no
won
way.
it. He's won everywhere. He's won everywhere he's been. Just like the Indiana Hoosiers football coach, which is still weird to say. Let's talk
Yes.
about some
Yes, it is.
surprises. Let's talk about surprises in the college football season. That's probably the biggest one. Is that Indiana is top 10 and they're 10-0. They are 10-0. Now that record is going to be put to the test in the biggest way Saturday morning,
Yes, it is.
11 a.m. on Fox. You got number 2 Ohio State, and you're playing at Ohio State. Uh, so yeah, number 2 Ohio State 9-1 against number 5 Indiana 10-0. 11 a.m. on Fox. A prediction for that one. Who you got?
Uh, the Buckeyes.
Um,
That one might get ugly, man. Uh, because I don't think Indiana's really played anyone all season, have they?
Not really. No one of this caliber, that's for sure. But I also have Ohio State. Now, I would say it'll be a 2 possession game, maybe 3. I would pick Ohio State to win that. Yeah, yeah. I think Indiana's luck runs out here, but still, you're 10-0 right now. And if you go and at least compete and make it competitive, you're at least not going to knock yourself out of a playoff spot. Then after that, who knows? Which is still weird to say about Indiana football. But
Oh,
okay, other surprises in a positive way. SMU, like Rhett Lashley and SMU. Remember that name, Rhett Lashley?
yeah.
Yeah, he was Auburn's offensive coordinator for Gus Malzahn during Gus's prime years at Auburn as the head coach. Rhett Lashley was also the quarterback for Gus Malzahn when Gus Malzahn was coaching Shiloh Christian High School in the late 90s, early 2000s. During that time frame, they won multiple state championships, the two of them, that tandem. But yeah, Rhett Lashley, 9-1 at SMU. They are atop the ACC right now with a 6-0 record. The other, which is not so positive surprise, I guess you could say, Florida State. Talk about one of the biggest turnarounds in a negative way I've ever seen. You go from 12-1 or whatever it is. Now, granted, you got curb stomped by Georgia in the bowl game
Yeah.
last year, but you're now 1-9, 1-9, dead last in the ACC.
Who did they beat? You know, off the top of your head?
I knew I didn't because I watched it, but I can't remember. It's been that long ago since they got a win. I can't remember who they beat, but they've lost another commit, like another. It was a 4-star quarterback, I believe, commit that it was their longest commit, like one of the first guys to commit to Florida State. He's now decommitted. I think as a quarterback, but yeah, and it's only getting worse for Florida State. Uh, Another positive surprise, though, the Arkansas Razorbacks. The Arkansas Razorbacks, 5-5. I had them 4 wins total for the season. They got Louisiana Tech this weekend. I expect them to win that one and become bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Probably finish the regular season 6-6, but we'll get to the Missouri game when that comes. But let's pick that real quick, just for us, basically, because it's not a big game by any means. Arkansas, Louisiana Tech. I got Arkansas. I assume you do too. What's your score prediction for that?
Ooh, I don't know. We 45-17 Hogs.
I'll say I like 45, and I will
I don't even know
say
if they'll
just
put up 17, man. If our defense plays like it did Saturday, which it won't because we'll play down like we always do. Um, yeah, we'd have a chance of shutting them out because I think they only scored what 10 against Auburn.
yeah, but I think 17 is a good number, but I think they will probably play down a little bit. Maybe La Tech can score some late, but I'll say I will say 40. I'll say 41-17 Hogs. And but being bowl eligible, big. I mean that's huge. That's huge if
Yeah.
you're a Razorback fan because that's not something I expected. So shout out to the Hogs on that. Okay. Other surprises. Colorado at eight and
Colorado,
two.
yeah.
I know that's a
Gotta.
surprise to you. I had them going to a bowl, but I had them. I had a steady increase in success from last year's. But like last year, they were 4-8. I thought they'd get to 6, 7 wins, like total for the season. But now you're 8-2. Shador has played lights out. Travis Hunter is my Heisman favorite, or he would be my Heisman pick. I don't know if he's
I
my
believe
favorite.
he's Vegas. I believe he's their Heisman favorite as well. So
Who would you have over him?
I don't think you really can have anyone over him right now. I mean, he's balling out and he plays practically every down. I mean,
He's going to get points for that. I mean, he's going to get credit for that as he should. But looking at his numbers, I mean, I think he's top 10 in receiving in the country.
uh,
And of course, he was recruited as a corner. He was the number 2 overall recruit in his class coming out of high school as a defensive back. But at receiver this season, he's got 74 receptions for 911 yards, 9 touchdowns. He's got 1 rushing touchdown, and he's got 3 interceptions on the defensive side. I think he is the best football player in the country.
well, with that guy from Boise State be a what second place?
Uh,
Play?
Now he's had video game numbers, and Boise State has been very good. They've had lots of success, so
Yeah.
he's probably going to get an invite, and he's worth considering for sure. But Travis
Mm,
Hunter would get my pick
yeah. No doubt.
at least right now. Okay, other surprises. Maybe I shouldn't be this surprised. South Carolina at 7-3. Shane Beamer. This is Beamer ball. They get big wins, and
I'm surprised at it. Yeah.
I'm still a little surprised by 7-3.
And yeah,
But it's yeah. I mean, you got to be happy if you're a South Carolina fan.
gotta be pumped, dude. They're what ranked number 18 right now.
I think so. And
Dude,
here's the other one. Okay, Army. Army is 9-0. And they're top
and
25. They're number 24 in the country right now.
don't
And
they
this
play
is a
Notre Dame this weekend?
yeah, that's another big one. They play host to number 8 Notre Dame, who's 9-1. That's a Saturday night game on NBC. That is a prime
Oh,
time game.
that'll be great.
Yeah, so we got a lot of good football this weekend, college football.
Even better if we get to see a bunch of upset Notre Dame fans at the end of the game.
Yeah, and Army's just kind of they're a fun team to watch run that offense. Run the offense. What don't they run like the triple option or the wing tee or something like
I
that?
was gonna say I don't even know if they're that fancy with the triple option. I was leaning more towards the wing tee.
I think it is. I think it's the wing tee.
Maybe
But
change it up and throw in the diamond tee every now and then. I don't know.
I prefer the wing tee. You get I don't know. It's a little more. It's just
They're
prettier.
more
Diamond
versatile.
tee. The diamond tees, of course, we ran that in high school. It's too crunched together.
Yeah.
It's all misdirection. Which so is the wing tee, but you at least have people a little more spread out and some movement at the skill positions. That is, but yeah, okay. Let's make a pick for that. We don't have to do a score prediction, but who you picking in that?
Oh,
Army or Notre
I'm
Dame?
I'm rolling with the camo, dude. I'm rolling with Army.
I'm gonna pick Notre Dame. I'll be probably pulling for Army because how could you not, right? But yeah, I'll pick Notre Dame to win that one. Don't
Is it
have a
at
score
Notre
prediction.
Dame? Or no, you said it was at Army, right?
Yes, it is at Army. Army is hosting this one, so that is something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I'll pick Notre Dame in that. I don't see Army going 10-0 at least in 2024. But we'll see what happens. I mean, America's going to be pulling for them outside of South Bend, Indiana. Okay. Other news. Okay. Well, this came about today. Tom Herman out as the FAU coach after an 0-6 start in AAC play. FAU is 6-16 under Tom Herman. Herman's who's 49. Made a name for himself at Houston, where he went 22-4 in 2 seasons, including beating Florida State in the Peach Bowl. That basically got him the Texas job, where he went 32-18. His tenure at Texas is largely seen as a failure, but he did win 4 bowl games and 4 seasons at Texas. But 32-18, not the record you want as the Texas head coach. Some of those bowls were probably like the Liberty Bowl or something like that. But um, he kind of fell off the map after Texas. Like I know he wanted like the South Carolina job, and South Carolina said no thanks. Um, and then he goes to FAU, and now this has happened. You know, he's probably trying to rekindle that Lane Kiffin success, which didn't work out. And my biggest memory of Tom Herman, well, one, he remember when he was up for like the LSU job, people were throwing his name out there like, oh, man, LSU would be a team to look out for if they get him. And he kind of bid between Texas, going back and forth between Texas and LSU, like kind of bidding who'd want him. And LSU was like, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to go hire Orgeron.
Yeah.
And worked out for Orgeron. He got a natty out of it. It hasn't worked out for Tom Herman. My biggest memory of Tom Herman is at Texas was when. Do you remember? Gosh, the Florida coach who got into Dan Mullen got into it with the Vandy coach, and then that was the whole ordeal. And then Tom Herman saw that and thought it would look cool to recruits. This is me speculating, and then did the same thing to Mike Gundy the following week. I was like, don't make this the next college football trend. This is stupid. And it looked dumb. Fortunately, nobody did it ever since. But that's my biggest memory of Tom Herman, which isn't a good thing. It's probably why he's out at FAU, at least in part. But he'll get another gig as an offense coordinator or something. But all right, well, we're out of time, but we'll be back next week with more football, basketball, and everything else. But until then, I'm Graham Powell.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.